Hi everybody, Hellcorrex here, just doing a little update for the channel. Just finished up another project here. These are some more Battletech miniatures, vehicles for the House Marik Free Worlds League. There's what, 32 I think here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, yeah, 40. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 40 things sitting here. All right, so just a wide assortment of stuff. I did up, just printed them off, 3D printed them on my Elegoo, and then put them on little bases. You can see here, got some nice little bases. These standard proxy models, plastic bases that get the job done. I got plenty of those. I'm always seem to be ordering them. They come 24, I think, in a bag, and you get like for $4 or $5. So I end up buying them packs of 4 all the time. Go through them pretty quickly. So what we have here, let's just get a little panoramic here. Get it up here. Sorry about the shaky cam. We have a large assortment here of different stuff. We got these going to be what, Drillsons. Hovercraft. You can see here, seems to like not want to focus. There we go. Yeah, basically you got, I think, 2 SRMs and a medium laser, an assortment of goodies on those. And then we have, these are PO tanks, PO or tanks. Kind of a little guys, a little assortment of goods on those. This is supposed to be a Pegasus. There really isn't a, which I find interesting, there isn't a actual Pegasus style miniature out there that you can print off. I have yet to find. I did a lot of searching for one, but this is the closest that ever came to it. It's like vehicles are kind of ignored in the game. You know, it's like, oh, you can find about every battle mech in the game, but it just shows you that people don't think of vehicles when it comes to playing Battletech. Which, yeah, it's okay, I guess. To each is their own. All right, this is a partisan tank. These are really nice partisans. They look pretty good. Get the job done. And then there's like, you got... I had 3 or 4 of these printed off, and the 4th one, when I printed it on the plate, it was like all warped and everything. So it was like, sometimes that happens. Is some type of error happens, and you know it gets messed up, and then it prints the rest of it, but it's all buggered up. So you just like, toss it. It all starts from if the supports don't go in correctly, then it's like, yeah, it's just a mess. So you got those. So I added another Pegasi to the unit. So you got 3 50-ton hovercraft along with a 35. So gets the job done. And then we have 2 more lances of the Pegasi here, which gets the job done. And then you got the standard Maxims right here. These are nice little models. They look pretty good. You can see I have probably 8 more of these that I can paint up. I actually did a whole plate of Maxims at the time because one of my commissions wanted a bunch of Maxims and they changed their mind, so I added some extras. And someone might look at this and think this is an Autos, but it's not. It is an Oro tank. It's got an LBX cannon or an AC, I think an LBX 20 cannon, and it has a large pulse laser on board. So it's got a couple weapon systems and a machine. I think that's a machine gun right there for anti-infantry work. But yeah, interesting. I don't mind having an LBX cannon on a vehicle. It's like an AC-20 Ultra or an LBX 20, something like that. Or maybe it's an AC-10 Ultra or an LBX 10. Either way, there's 2 lances of those in the back row. They You know, this internal combustion engine. So really, when you put the large pulse laser on it, you are sucking up 10 heat sinks. So if it had a fusion reactor on board, you know, that wouldn't be a problem. It's like all your heat dissipation goes into the fusion reactor. But to have a standard vehicle with an internal combustion engine and you start throwing on energy weapons, yeah, you're soaking up a lot of your internal tonnage for heat sinks. So you're better off just going with auto cannons or missiles and stuff like that. So it's like if it's internal combustion engine, you throw that's 10 heat sinks. You're better off just going with like an SRM6 and then a couple LRM5s or something of that nature, or an LRM10, just to give you a little bit more weapons loadout. You know, kind of like logical thing to do. All right, over here we got 2 lances of VTOLs. We got some Warriors. This is a Warrior. You've probably seen these. I had some printed a bunch off for the last commission, so I still had some extras, and they wanted some Warriors. And then these are going to be Yellow Jackets. This one you got, I think, 2 SRM4s and AC2 or something of that nature. This one here, the Yellow Jacket, has a Gauss rifle, so goes into battle with a big old Gauss rifle floating around in the backfield. So you got something fast moving sitting in the backfield, just plugging away with a big giant cannon. So you got 1 lance of those and 1 flight lance of Warrior. So this is adding some mobility to the House Marik force that you've seen before that was painted up in September. So they wanted a few heavy hitters, you know, with the heavy tanks. But as you can see, most of this stuff is fast-moving hovercraft. So you got basically a company of plus, you know, you got 16 hovercraft, and then you're going to have a company of heavy tanks to assault tanks, and then you got a anti-aircraft section right there. And then you got obviously your recon / VTOLs right there. Oh, they get the job done. Now over here, a couple other things that are on the table going for bolt action. I printed off some vehicles. Here you see a little M3 Stuart I printed off. Kind of cool. You know, it's got some heft to it because it's a 3D model. I forgot to hollow it out, so it is a solid piece of resin, so it is heavy, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. And you can see it's about ready to get painted, so I've just finished these guys off, so I'm not going to work on these right here. And then we got a couple of Jeeps. We got an armored Jeep, which, you know, the gun's already broke off on the darn thing. There's supposed to be a medium machine gun. What I might do is carve that up a bit and then put I got medium machine guns from my bolt action plastics, and I might just put that on there, paint it up, and go the same route. You can see here, this little, see how flimsy that is? Yeah, easily. You just touch it and it just like breaks. This is a standard Jeep, and this is the armored Jeep over here. You can see it's got armor on the front and everything. They did this for the recon units, so they can go flying through and start taking fire. They can have a little bit of armored protection from rifle fire or machine gun fire. This here is just open to being shot the heck up, you know. Now, when I printed these off, the wheels were attached by a small little bit of resin, and it's like when I was taking the resin supports off after printing it, it's like the wheels started breaking off. So that's why you see it on a piece of hard card, because I wanted it to glue the wheels down, and I used green stuff to hold the wheels in place. So yeah, kind of a bad design. When I bought the prints, I was like, oh yeah, those look pretty good. And then after printing it off, I was like, not so good. So yeah, you can see how much that easily, just touching it, that probably won't last a game or two, to be honest, before it snaps off. You can see how thin that is. That's what was holding the wheels on, was that little support holding the machine gun up, the pintle mount there. Was same equivalent of holding the wheels on. So any bit of pressure and snap, crackle, pop in the morning. So I wasn't too happy with that, but you know, you can make, with a little bit of ingenuity, you can make things work. Over here I printed off a heavy machine gun from my Soviets, and this is the fully deployed version over here. So I got to get a base to put this on. Someplace around, I got the equivalent 60 mil base laying around. I got to just dig one out. This is a metal miniature that came with the Case Blue, the newest book that came out last Monday, a week ago. So that's the model. Fairly large comparatively to, but it's not the same. It's like you look at, it's a little bit smaller. These are heroic scale. These there, so kind of on the base. You can see obviously the Rebel here for Star Wars Legion is larger. But when you compare this model here to the standard bolt action, this one is bigger than your standard bolt action model. So he's fairly large. And I think I've showed that one. That's my Ichabod Crane, my Headless Horseman. That was supposed to have been for Halloween, but commission work takes precedence. I never did get to finish it. I got started on him, but I just never got around to finish him. So now I got a little bit of time. I probably will do that. So got to get it done. All right, over here, as you can see, here's some more printed stuff. These are my dogs. These are mine dogs from my Soviet Army. They're little 3D prints that I picked up. They were free, so little mine dogs. Basically, you got one handler, one dog. I think how it is 1 for 1. So you can buy up to 3 guys for the unit, and so you can have 3 dogs. So they go forth and like go woof 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 woof. And you got a 50% chance the actual dog will do something before he blows the bits. So there's that. They trained the dogs to go run underneath vehicles. It's like, oh yeah, there's a vehicle. Like, dog will run over to it. So they trained the dogs to do that. But you got a 50%. The vehicle and the rules is it still hasn't taken an order dice yet, then you can go and run over and it'll blow itself up, possibly. Otherwise, it may just scamper off the battlefield. You never know. This here is my other 3D printed. I printed 2 of them. One was in a full disc, and this one's in the lower section, smaller. I put it on the base. I had one base, like put it on there, and then printed it. So basically, 4-man crew. You got an NCO / officer, whatever. He's got his little binoculars. Look, he's pointing over there. Go shoot that. You got a guy sitting in a low position here. A couple guys in the. What is just nice is that these are plastics, that in the Siberian box, but actually worked pretty good. It's like he's actually sitting in a position, so he actually fit on the machine gun perfectly. I was like, hey, who would have thought that was ever possible? So over here you can see there's a resin building. I bought this. Dan has one of these. Dan Bumman. He has the same exact building. If you watch any of my videos or our bolt action videos or even our Land of the Free ones, I believe he had some of these up on the battlefield. I know in one of the bolt action games he was shooting from this exact building that he had painted up, and he does a heck of a job painting these things. So it's like individual rock face and everything. I got to get around to doing mine, finish it. But here's something else I printed off. You can see this big old building right here. This took me 3 days to print. It's a big giant piece of resin. Nice chunk. It comes in pieces. It comes in 4 individual parts that you can see. It's got holes and drainage holes in the bottom. I got to drill. Basically, I got to drill holes in the bottom of this here. Put my LED light system that's UV LED lights and then cure it from the inside. As you can see, it's a very large piece of resin here. Nice block of resin. Each piece right here took, I think this one was like 16 hours to print. This one was 12 or 13 hours to print that one. These 2 pieces were like 7 hours, I think. I had a couple other pieces I put on the same plate. I had some other like wall sections and stuff that I put on here. I keep adding to my terrain collection by doing that. But I still have to clean these up, sand them and everything. And then you can see there's like holes and stuff. Drainage holes here and there throughout the models that I got to fill in all the little holes after all the curing. So it's one of those things where you got to do that, or else you leave a void of resin inside, and that can expand and blow up your model. So I'm whole happy, and it doesn't take much to fill them in. And then after it's all said and done, after I sand everything, you can see there's like resin holding. These are not. It looks flat, but you can see there's kind of a wavy section right there. That's got to be sanded down, cured and sanded down, using respirator mask, to keep it from getting in your lungs. But then glue it together into one big piece, and then it's going to get painted. The only problem is that after I printed this is the Panzer III on here, and after looking at it, it's like, ooh, that is huge. Was holding, there'll be some pictures. Had my T-34, my Russian, sitting next to it, and this is bigger. The Panzer III is bigger than the T-34. So obviously, Dan wants one of these printed off for him, so I'm going to scale it down to. I need the dimensions of the Panzer III, so I can figure out how much I need to scale this down by, and that'll save a bit of resin. There's 1 kilogram of resin, so I had to buy a new Sunlu box of printing resin right there. I burned through 1 complete container of resin just to print this whole thing off. So yeah, it takes up a lot of space. It's a big footprint. But I got a whole bunch of STL files for different pieces of terrain, and that's what I'm doing. Is both Dan and I want to keep building on our bolt action battlefield. It's like he has a same size table, basically a 5x6 table, and we both want to fill it up completely with our terrain. He has a lot of foam core buildings that he's good, but he wants actual, like a Stalingrad thing. So do I. Or battlefield Berlin, major city fights that happened in Europe at the time. Be it Germans versus Americans or Brits, or Germans versus the Soviets. So evil versus evil. There you go. So we got that. And speaking of evil, I get these guys here. These are some more bolt action. These are metal miniatures. You've seen these kind before. These are North Koreans that I got. I picked them up, a box of them. And the worst thing is, when I bought the box, all the barrels, almost every single barrel was bent. It was like it got dropped multiple times and everything was bent. Like you see, the little gun barrels were every single one was twisted up. And there's several, I think this guy, his broke off completely. You see it looks like a little shotgun now. There was no way of saving that one. This guy's barrel was broken. And I use this, I set it up. It's supposed to have like a tripod. So I put these bricks right here that I printed off and laid it there and then glued it so it would, it would stay in place. And I don't know how long this one lasts. I kept dripping super glue on it, and hopefully it will stay. But I sent pictures off to Warlord, and they said, okay, yeah, we're sorry about it. And they're sending me replacement miniatures. So hopefully those will actually be in halfway decent condition. So they're being sent by airmail. I think they just reached the States today. So it takes about 7 to 10 days to get over here. Most of that time is spent getting out of England. Once I get it to the airport and it's shipped over by air, it gets here pretty quickly, and then you got to go through customs. But those are the slow parts of it. And you see back here, more work. I got this Tiger. Got a German Tiger here that needs to be put together. That's the last thing I got left, Tiger 1. So I got to put that little guy together. And another Sherman. Another Sherman that needs to get put together. So I got a couple more models to work on for bolt action. So that's the update for everything that's going on in the channel right now. So I hope you guys like everything. Go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe. I'd be happy to have your subscription. All right. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. And we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrix out.